Hello, and welcome to this session on how to add a recovery to an incident losses tab. A recovery can be the amount associated to the incident as a whole or an involvement on the incident and has been restored or regained as a result of an action that had been implemented after the incident took place. You may have seen in another recording that the process for adding a recovery can be done in two places, on the Losses tab or the Involvements tab. This session will focus on adding a recovery to the Losses tab. On the Losses tab, we can see the options that are available to you in terms of adding a loss, add a recovery, add a no impact, edit, and remove. We're going to focus on the add recovery, edit, and remove links in this training session. Also in this tab, we can see any of the already added losses, recoveries, or no impacts listed in the grid below. As well, to the right, we can see a summary of these pieces of information. These details could have been entered either here on the Losses tab or from the Involvements tab. To add a recovery, click the Add Recovery link. In the window that opens, we can begin to add the details. When adding a recovery from the Losses tab, the user must identify what the recovery is associated with. From the Associated Type field, we must specify if we're associating the recovery to the incident as a whole, or with any of the involvements that were added under the Involvements tab. Just note that this list will only show the person, organization, vehicle, and/or item involvement options if they were entered on the Involvements tab. When we choose the appropriate value from the Associated Type field, this will unlock the Associated To field where we can identify the specific involvement that we're associating it to. When associating the recovery to the incident as a whole, the Associated To field does not need a value and the field will remain locked. Next, we can enter the date associated with the recovery in the Recovery Date field. As it applies, enter the number of recovered units as well as the approximate value of each unit in the Units and the Value Per Unit fields. The total field below will automatically calculate with the total value of recoveries by multiplying these two fields. Next, we need to identify the nature of the recovery under the recovery type. By default, the person field will contain the name of the person logged in, but if another person determined this recovery, you may select that person from the person's database or quick add them if they do not already exist. If this was recovered from a person or an organization, use the appropriate field to indicate this information. Under the method, select the descriptor that best defines the way in which the recovery occurred. Finally, enter any additional comments that pertain to the recovery under the Notes field. Click OK to add your recovery details and close this window. The added recovery will now be visible in the list below, and to see this recovery information added to the summary window to the right, you need to save the record. If you need to modify any of the details you entered, select the recovery from the list and click the Edit link, or double-click on the recovery to reopen the Details window and modify the information as needed. To remove a recovery, again select it from the list below and click on the Remove link.